Today, we're going to talk about something powerful, something that connects two words you might not normally put together, mathematics and hope. We're going to explore how the clear, objective language of numbers, statistics, can actually give us a really solid reason to be hopeful, especially when the world feels anything but.
Just think about it. What do you see when you turn on the news or scroll through your phone? As Anna Rosling Runland puts it, we're just bombarded with images of natural disasters, war, terror. It's a nonstop feed that paints this picture of a world that's just chaotic, dangerous, and honestly, feels like it's spiraling out of control.
But what if that picture is just dangerously wrong? Seriously, what if our focus on all the drama is actually warping our perspective? What if the real story of our world, the one told by data, not by headlines, is actually something completely different? Something a lot more hopeful?
So to figure that out, we've got to understand why our view is so off in the first place. Here's how we're going to break it down. We'll look at our overdramatic worldview, take a little ignorance test, and then see how statistics can be a language of hope. We'll uncover a world of progress, see how data makes us more human, and finally, learn how to become a possibilist. Let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first, our brains are literally hardwired for drama. It's called a negativity bias. It's an old survival instinct, right? We pay way more attention to a potential threat than we do to some slow, gradual improvement. And of course, the media knows this, so what do they show us? The most extraordinary, shocking events. This creates what the amazing Professor Hans Rosling called an overdramatic worldview. And it's not just wrong, it's stressful, it's misleading, and it leaves us with this constant feeling that everything is getting worse.
Now, the thing about Hans Rosling is he didn't just have a hunch about this. Nope, he decided to actually measure it. And what he found was that this skewed worldview isn't just a vague feeling. It's a very real, very measurable kind of ignorance. And it affects pretty much everyone, from college students all the way up to world leaders.
So, let me ask you one of his famous questions. Ready? What percentage of one-year-old kids in the world today have been vaccinated against some disease? Your choices are 20%, 50%, or 80%. Just pick the one that feels right. Lock in your answer.
Okay, you got your answer? The correct answer is 80%. 80! And this chart right here just perfectly shows the problem. In some of the richest, most educated countries on Earth, the US, the UK, Sweden, less than 20% of people get this right. Think about that. Rosling famously pointed out that if you gave a chimpanzee 3 bananas with the answers on them, they'd do better than most of us. Why? Because they'd be guessing randomly. Our so-called knowledge actually makes us do worse than random.
And look, this isn't because people are stupid. Not at all. It's because those dramatic stories we see all the time have painted a picture of the world in our heads that is literally decades out of date. We're all walking around with the wrong facts. And when you're working with the wrong facts, it's pretty much impossible to solve the real problems, or even to see the incredible progress we've already made.
So if our own instincts and the daily news are leading us down the wrong path, how do we get back to what's real? Well, the answer is a tool. And yeah, it has a bit of a bad rap. Maybe it gives you flashbacks to math class. But it's also one of the most powerful tools we've ever invented for understanding the world: statistics.
Let's kind of redefine what statistics really is for a second. Forget the scary formulas. At its heart, statistics is simply the science of our community, of the state we live in. We live in this world that's just flooded with information, right? It's all just noise. Well, statistics is the tool that helps us find the signal in that noise. It helps us find the truth hiding in all the chaos.
And man, that perspective is absolutely crucial. It gives us a way to check our own beliefs against what's actually happening. It lets us ask, are the things I think are true about the world, about poverty, health, you name it, are they actually true? Statistics just cuts right through all the bias, all the old, outdated ideas.
And this is where the hope comes in. The hope that mathematics gives us isn't some guarantee of a perfect future. No. What it gives us is the confidence that comes from making an informed decision. It's like having a map. Data helps us see where we are, where we've been, and all the possible paths forward, so we can actually choose the best one.
All right, enough talk. Let's actually use this tool. Let's tune out all that noise for a minute and just look at the statistical signal. What does the data actually say about how humanity is doing? Well, we find what Hans Rosling called the secret, silent miracle of human progress.
And this visualizes that story perfectly. On the left, a bunch of charts showing 16 bad things that are going down. Things like slavery, child labor, oil spills. And on the right,
16 good things that are going up. Literacy, women's right to vote, access to electricity. This isn't someone's opinion, okay? This is a statistical snapshot. It's proof that on so many fundamental measures, the world is getting better.
Let's take a closer look. Let's talk about violence. I know, the headlines are just full of it. But the data, and this is stuff that researchers like Steven Pinker have documented for years, shows an absolutely stunning trend. The rate of people dying in wars has just plummeted since the 1940s. So despite everything you see and hear, the numbers say we are living in the most peaceful time in all of human history. Wild, right?
Or what about the health of our kids? I want you to really let this sink in. Back in 1800, almost half, 44% of all children died before they turned 5. It was just a horrible, normal part of life. Today, that number is down to just 4%. That is a quiet, world-changing revolution that we never, ever talk about.
And this one might be the most important story of our time. Extreme poverty. For almost all of history, it was just the way things were for basically everyone. In the year 1800, 85% of humanity was living in extreme poverty. Today, it's less than 10%. For the very first time in history, we can actually imagine a world where we end extreme poverty for good.
But you know, it's not just about these huge, sweeping trends. This data-driven way of seeing the world can also bring us closer to the real, intimate stories of our daily lives. Because statistics aren't just abstract lines on a graph. They can help us see each other as people.
And that's the whole idea behind this incredible project called Dollar Street. It was started by Anna Rosling Ronlund, who was just tired of all the stereotypes about us versus them. So she sent photographers into hundreds of homes across 50 countries. But here's the brilliant part. She didn't sort the photos by country. She sorted them by how much money people earned per day. And the result is this amazing visual database of how people really live.
And using photos as data shows us something really profound. Just look at toothbrushes. At the lowest income level, people might use a finger or a special stick. At the highest level, you see electric toothbrushes. The point is, it's not about what country you're from. This shows that how we live our daily lives has way more to do with our income than our culture or where we live. We all kind of want the same things as we earn more.
Now check this out. These are bedrooms from high-income homes all over the world. Mexico, China, Ukraine, Vietnam, they all look remarkably similar, don't they? The data here, these photos, they just shatter our stereotypes. They prove that a person on the other side of the planet who has the same income as you is probably living a life that looks a whole lot like yours. It makes the world feel smaller, less strange, and way more human.
So, where does all this leave us? We've seen that our gut feeling about the world is often just wrong, but we've also seen that data can fix that and show us a story of incredible progress. The big question is, what do we do with this new perspective?
Well, Hans Rosling had a great word for it. He never called himself an optimist. He thought that sounded kind of naive, like closing your eyes to the bad stuff. Instead, he called himself a possibilist. A possibilist is someone who doesn't hope without reason and doesn't fear without reason. They see all the progress we've made not as an excuse to relax, but as hard evidence that even more progress is possible. It's a worldview built on facts.
And in the end, having a fact-based worldview isn't just about being smarter or more accurate. It's about being more effective. It's way less stressful because you realize the world isn't as scary as the headlines make it seem. And it gives us a real, powerful foundation for hope. It shows that what we do matters. Our efforts can and do build a better world. The data gives us a clearer picture. The question that's left for all of us is, what are we going to do with it?